Hey guys, it's Miracle, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that can be a little uncomfortable but is important for maintaining healthy relationships. Recognizing the signs that your partner might have recently been intimate with someone else. Look, we've all been there. That nagging feeling that something's off but you just can't put your finger on it. We're going to talk about some subtle cues you might notice in your partner's appearance, behavior, and even their scent that could indicate they've been getting frisky elsewhere. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. First up, let's talk about physical changes. Now, I'm not talking about anything drastic, but subtle clues that might indicate your partner's been getting a little action on the side. One thing to look out for is disheveled clothing. Maybe their shirt is buttoned up wrong or their hair is a little messier than usual. It could just be a sign of a rushed morning, but it's something to keep in mind. Another thing to pay attention to is their lips. Are they a little redder or swollen? This could be a sign of recent kissing, especially if it's more pronounced than usual. And speaking of kissing, hickeys are a dead giveaway. Now, your partner might try to pass it off as a bug bite or something, but you know what a hickey looks like. Moving on down, pay attention to any scratches or marks on their back, shoulders, or arms. These could be from passionate encounters, especially if they're in places that are hard to reach on their own. Now I know what you're thinking, Dr. Mike. This is getting a little too detailed, but trust me, these are just a few things to keep an eye out for. Remember, everyone's different, and these signs aren't always foolproof, but if you notice several of these changes in your partner, it might be worth having a conversation about what's going on. Beyond physical changes, there are also some behavioral and emotional cues that can tip you off to your partner's recent sexual activity. These signs can be subtle, but significant, and paying attention to them can provide valuable insights into your relationship. One of the most common signs is a sudden shift in their mood. This could manifest as increased irritability, anxiety, or even unexplained happiness. Such mood swings can be confusing and may leave you wondering what's going on. If they are usually affectionate and attentive, but suddenly seem distant or withdrawn, it could be a sign that they are emotionally invested elsewhere. This emotional distance can create a rift in your relationship, making it difficult to connect on the same level as before. Another red flag is a change in their communication patterns. Are they suddenly more secretive with their phone or computer? Do they avoid answering calls or texts when you're around? Are they suddenly less interested in talking about their day or sharing their thoughts and feelings with you? This lack of communication can be a sign that they're confiding in someone else, leaving you out of the loop. This could be a sign that they're confiding in someone else. They might be sharing their thoughts and feelings with another person, creating an emotional bond that excludes you. You might also notice that they're more secretive with their phone or computer. Are they constantly deleting messages or hiding their screen from you? This behavior can indicate that they're trying to cover up their tracks. Are they constantly deleting messages or hiding their screen from you? This could be a sign that they're trying to cover up their tracks, making sure you don't see any incriminating evidence. This could be a sign that they're trying to cover up their tracks. They might be going to great lengths to ensure that you don't find out about their secret communications. And speaking of covering their tracks, pay attention to any unusual showering or grooming habits. If your partner comes home and immediately jumps in the shower, even though they showered that morning, it could be a sign that they're trying to wash away any evidence of their infidelity. If your partner comes home and immediately jumps in the shower, even though they showered that morning, it could be a sign that they're trying to wash away any evidence of their infidelity. This behavior can be particularly telling if it's out of character for them. Another thing to watch out for is a change in their sexual appetite. If they're usually all over you but suddenly seem uninterested in sex, it could be a sign that they're getting their needs met elsewhere. If they're usually all over you but suddenly seem uninterested in sex, it could be a sign that they're getting their needs met elsewhere. This sudden disinterest can be hurtful and confusing, leaving you feeling rejected. On the flip side, a sudden increase in their libido could also be a red flag, especially if it's accompanied by a change in their sexual preferences. They might be trying to introduce new activities or behaviors that they haven't shown interest in before, which can be a sign of new influences in their life. Chapter 3. Changes in hygiene habits. Let's talk about hygiene, folks. Now, everyone has their own hygiene routine, but sudden changes in your partner's habits could be a sign that something's up. One of the most obvious signs is excessive showering. If your partner is suddenly showering multiple times a day, especially after coming home from work or being out with friends, it could be a sign that they're trying to wash away the evidence. Another thing to watch out for is a sudden obsession with their appearance. If they're usually pretty laid back about their looks, but suddenly start spending hours in front of the mirror or buying new clothes, it could be a sign that they're trying to impress someone else. And speaking of impressing someone else, pay attention to any changes in their underwear habits. If they start wearing sexier lingerie or buying new underwear more frequently, it could be a sign that they're trying to spice things up in the bedroom with someone else. Now I know what you're thinking, Dr. Mike. Maybe they're just trying to be more hygienic or feel better about themselves. And you're right, those are possibilities. But if these changes in hygiene habits coincide with some of the other signs we've talked about, it's definitely something to be mindful of. Remember, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Chapter 4. Presence of unusual scents. Let's be real, guys, our sense of smell is incredibly powerful. It's one of those senses that we often take for granted, but it plays a crucial role in our daily lives. We can smell fear, we can smell happiness, and yes, we can even smell when someone's been getting busy. Our noses are like little detectives picking up on all sorts of clues. Now, I'm not talking about the normal, everyday scents that come with being in a relationship. You know, the familiar smell of your partner's shampoo or their favorite cologne. I'm talking about unusual or unfamiliar scents that linger on your partner's skin or clothes. These are the scents that make you stop and think, wait a minute, that's not right. One of the most obvious signs is the smell of perfume or cologne that isn't their usual scent. If your partner suddenly smells like a different fragrance, it could be a sign that something's up. If you notice a whiff of something unfamiliar, especially if it's a distinctly feminine or masculine scent, it's a major red flag. Trust your nose on this one. Another telltale sign is the smell of lubricant. This is a scent that's hard to miss and even harder to explain away if it wasn't used with you. Now, some people use lubricant regularly, but if your partner suddenly smells like lube and you haven't been intimate lately, it's definitely something to be curious about. It's one of those scents that doesn't just appear out of nowhere. And speaking of intimacy, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the smell of sex. It's a topic that might make some people uncomfortable, but it's important to address. Yes, guys, sex has a smell. It's a combination of sweat, pheromones, and other bodily fluids. It's a scent that's hard to miss once you know what to look for. It's a combination of sweat, pheromones, and other bodily fluids. And while it's not always unpleasant, it's definitely distinct. It's one of those scents that lingers and tells a story. So if you notice a lingering musky scent on your partner, especially if it's accompanied by other signs like disheveled clothing or a change in their demeanor, it's a pretty clear indication that they've been getting frisky with someone else. Trust your instincts on this one. Now I know what you're thinking. Dr. Mike, this is getting a little too personal, but these are the realities of relationships and it's important to be aware of them. But trust me, our sense of smell doesn't lie. It's one of the most honest senses we have, and it can reveal a lot about what's going on around us. If you smell something, say something. It's better to address these concerns head-on rather than letting them fester. Communication is key in any relationship. So, next time you catch a whiff of something unusual, don't ignore it. Your nose might just be trying to tell you something important. Chapter 5. Changes in sexual interest or performance. Last but not least, let's talk about changes in your partner's sexual interest or performance. This is a topic that can be quite sensitive and sometimes difficult to address, but it's crucial for the health of your relationship. Now, it's perfectly normal for couples to experience fluctuations in their sex life. Life events, stress, and even health issues can cause these changes. However, sudden or drastic changes could be a sign of infidelity. It's important to differentiate between normal fluctuations and those that might indicate a deeper issue. One red flag is a sudden decrease in their sexual interest towards you. If your partner, who was once very affectionate and eager, suddenly becomes distant or uninterested in physical intimacy, it could be a sign that they're getting their needs met elsewhere. This change can be subtle at first, but over time, it becomes more noticeable. On the flip side, a sudden increase in their libido could also be a cause for concern. If your partner suddenly shows a heightened interest in sex, especially if it's accompanied by a change in their sexual preferences, it might be worth paying attention to. For instance, if they suddenly want to try new positions or engage in activities they've never shown interest in before, it could be a sign that they're picking up new tricks from someone else. This doesn't always mean infidelity, but it's a change that warrants a conversation. Another thing to pay attention to is their performance in the bedroom. If your partner, who was usually confident and attentive, suddenly seems distracted or uninterested, it could be a sign that their mind is elsewhere. This distraction can manifest in various ways, such as lack of eye contact, reduced enthusiasm, or even a sense of detachment. You might also notice that they're more critical of your body or performance in bed. This could be a way of projecting their own insecurities or comparing you to someone else. If they start making comments that they never made before or seem unusually dissatisfied, it could be a red flag. Now, I know this is a sensitive topic, but it's important to remember that communication is key. Open and honest conversations can help you understand what's really going on. If you notice any changes in your partner's sexual behavior, don't be afraid to talk to them about it. Approach the conversation with empathy and a willingness to listen. This could be a way of projecting their own insecurities or comparing you to someone else. It's essential to address these issues head-on, rather than letting them fester. Remember, every relationship goes through ups and downs, and changes in sexual interest or performance are just one aspect of that. But by staying connected and communicating openly, you can navigate these changes together. If you notice any changes in your partner's sexual behavior, don't be afraid to talk to them about it. Approach the conversation with empathy and a willingness to listen. Open and honest communication is the foundation of a healthy relationship. By addressing these changes together, you can strengthen your bond and ensure that both partners feel valued and understood. So, there you have it, guys. Some signs that your partner might have recently had sex with someone else. It's a tough topic, but important to discuss. Remember, these signs aren't foolproof, and it's important to trust your gut and communicate openly with your partner about your concerns. If you're concerned about infidelity in your relationship, the best thing to do is talk to your partner directly and honestly. Open and honest communication is essential for building a strong and healthy relationship. Thanks for watching, guys. Your support means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more relationship advice, and hit that like button if you found this video helpful and informative. And as always, stay healthy and take care of yourselves.